Good morning and welcome to the Rise and Grind Mastermind call. This call is started on September 8th, 2016. This is the Mastermind group, and the Mastermind group concept was formulated by Napoleon Hill, who wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. This call takes place every morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., and this is a group of people who come together, share like-minded ideas, and the ideas that we share are to reach great success and achieve great fortune. Today we are talking about I am. One thing we talk about on this call that we usually end the call with is affirmations. And affirmations are basically affirming who you are. And one thing about it is there's no greater two words in the English language that I know of other than the words I am. And we usually talk about make sure you start your affirmations with I am. I am a champion. I am successful. And it's basically affirming who you are. In life, we either come from memory or inspiration. Usually everything that we do comes from memory. Everything that whenever you feel any kind of anger, it's usually because it's some kind of memory. But what we want to operate from is inspiration. And we always want to get to the point where that's strictly what we're operating from, inspiration. You don't want to live a life that's completely set on memory, where everything that you're experiencing, you've experienced it before. You remember this situation. You're just having replays in your life. So saying affirmation is basically coming from a mode of inspiration. It's you affirming who you are. And when we talk about affirmations, it's understanding that you are created by God. God created you, and he knows exactly who you are, and you are who God says you are. Now, do not use not in your affirmations, because affirmations are affirming who you are. So you never want to say affirmations with, I am not. No, it's always supposed to be affirming who you are, because God knows who you are, and you are who God says you are. Daily affirmations is what we want to get to the level of. And we want to get to the level of daily affirmations, which you start your day with affirmations. In the middle of the day, you say your affirmations. At the end of the day, you say your affirmations. Affirmations need to be completely embedded into your systems, because what an affirmation is you know who you are, but a lot of times we need to be reminded who we are. Because as God says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You have to remind yourself that you can do all things in certain situations, because, of course, we're human beings, so sometimes we get emotional and things happen, and we have to be reminded who we are. So affirmations, constantly, consistently, repeating things, this needs to be embedded into us. You need to memorize your affirmations just like you memorize nursery rhymes as a child, or the songs, some of the songs that come on the radio or used to come on the radio. This is how your affirmations need to be memorized, because you need to remind yourself who you are at all times. Like I said, I am the most powerful, two words in the English language, but the Lord tells us repeatedly in his word that he is the great I am. When you understand that the Lord tells us repeatedly in the Bible that he is the great I am, realize that we can use that word I am, those two words I am, because we can unceasingly call on him. He is what we need, and he is always on time when we need him. So if God is always available and he is the great I am, we can affirm in our life at any given time, because, God doesn't take a lunch break. God doesn't become unavailable. He's always available to us. And he is who he says that we are, and we have to completely affirm this in our life repeatedly throughout our day. So we talk about the law of attraction on this call as well. And the law of attraction is basically seeing yourself as a magnet. And when you see yourself as a magnet, what you're doing is attracting like-minded people. You're attracting the things that you think about. Your thoughts become things, and everything that you attract in your life is for a particular reason, because at that point in time, that is what you're attracting, that's what you're affirming. So we have to sometimes realize that the three affirmations that I may have had last month or last year, they may not pertain to what I am affirming today. I might need to change up my affirmations. Reason being is because we're consistently growing. Now, there are certain things that we know that God has created us as, and things that, who we are. But at the same time, some of our innermost, deepest desires that we affirm. We have outgrown them. We have grown past it. So we need to start putting down new affirmations for our life so that we can attract, different attractions on a newer level in our life. Is there anyone else out there on this call who wants to talk about the power of I am?
Yeah, good morning. This is Randolph. I love to talk about the power of I am. Affirmations actually gives us the opportunity, if you like to say, to almost play being a higher power or being God, because we're actually creating or co-creating what we want our future to be. Those words are so powerful. The power of life and death is definitely in your tongue. I know every morning when I get up and I say my affirmations, it's a particular part of my affirmations when I go absolutely nuts, because I actually visualize like 4 of them, just like I'm visualizing this road ahead of me right now. And that's the part what Timeka was talking about as far as what she was saying, it becomes habit. And when things become habit, you touch it, you smell it, you feel it, it becomes real. That's really, the part about, creating it are the words that you're saying. I am employed by God who's given me a vision. I'm connected with God who possesses all of my needs, wants, and desires infinitely. The second half of the creation is actually having that faith that it's going to happen, knowing that it's going to happen, that unwavering faith, knowing that what you're saying is going to come into reality. So, just writing it down on paper is one thing, but actually feeling it in your soul and your heart, that's really what makes it, real for me in my life. Again, as Timeka was saying, it's not just saying it morning and at night, but throughout the day. I know I have to encourage myself, like throughout the day. Some days are better than others. So I have to encourage myself, like David said, you have to encourage yourself because, life shows up, things happen, and, I can't allow circumstances to dictate how I'm living. So I have to live by my principles in which I know, that works. So that's what I do on a daily basis. And again, like you said, those I am statements are, some of the 2 most powerful words, in the world that there are in the universe. But you have unlimited power and unlimited creativity, and your inner spirit knows this. This is what makes affirmations so cool to me, because it's almost like, I don't know if this is a good example or not, but I like coffee. Coffee is a stimulant. I could be feeling down or groggy or whatever, but once I get a cup of coffee and that caffeine gets moving within my bloodstream, I'm alive, I'm working, I'm doing whatever it is that I need to do. Yes, I have this stimulant, that's got me going, and that's almost what my affirmations are. Once I say those words, something gets to moving, and then when I begin to visualize, it's like that's my caffeine that I need to kick everything into gear. That's really all we'll have for right now as far as affirmations. I'll pass it back to the group if anybody else has anything they'd like to add on to that.
Well, I just want to add a little bit about the importance of, saying your affirmations and that I am. When you look at any people who are very successful that you see out there on TV, most of the common things that they'll say is they believe that they can achieve whatever they were trying to achieve. They believed and already seen themselves doing it. Even some of the best comedians said that when they were just, telling jokes in their lunchroom to their friends, or they were actually at these little small rinky-dink comedy shops, they already knew where they were going. They visualized it, and they seen it, and they affirmed it basically in their mind. And it's a certain level, of course, whether they verbally said it out of their mouth every day, which we definitely, we need to say that. In their mind, they said it over and over. I am successful. I'm going to be. I am a great comedian. I am worldwide. And looking at that, it actually works. I know just in small areas, and there's areas that I could definitely continue to say my affirmations and truly take it in and believe it. But in some areas, like especially when it comes to finances or business, I always say to myself, I'm successful. I'm a millionaire. I have my daycare is the greatest 24-hour child care in the nation, and I see it that way. And when I operate the daycare, sometimes I have to take a step back and say, okay, and let me make sure I'm not. Sometimes it's a surprise because I'm working in that so much. Sometimes I fail to take that reality look and say, okay, hold on, you ain't a millionaire yet. But it's good that I tell myself that because I operate in it and we move further even quicker with it. So that's just what I wanted to add with the confirmations. From affirmations. I know what's in my life. When I say them all the time, I truly take hold of it and believe it. And I think without it, probably I wouldn't make as many gains or as many strides as I have in a short amount of time. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to Timeka.
All right. One thing I wanted to say was affirmations actually support your visualizations. So it kind of goes to that concept when we ask ourselves, like the call we did before titled, what do you want? When you ask yourself, what do you want, and you actually have the ability to write down what you want as well as say it out loud what you want, your affirmations basically follow your visualizations. Because in order to say out loud what you want, to write down on paper what you want, after you visualize what you want, you can affirm who you are. Because unless you have that self-confidence to believe that I can get everything that I want, God supplies my every need. The great I am supplies my every need. He's always available, always there to listen to me. Then we can affirm that I am. We can consistently all throughout the day affirm I am. But in order to say your affirmations, you don't just need to say them because, of course, we know that words have power, but we need to write them down and we need to visualize them. Visualize your affirmations, follow your visualization. So after you affirm it, after you visualize it, actually, affirm it. And affirm it and visualize it at the same time for a minimum of 17 seconds. Focus on each affirmation for a minimum of 17 seconds so you can actually do both. As you're saying the affirmation, you're visualizing. You already know in your mental picture what you want, but you have to affirm that this is going to happen. Reason being, because from all of our memory, and thus far, God has supplied our every need, everything that we need, and you have to realize and come to the realization in your life, take 100% responsibility to understand that everything is working towards your better good. Because unlike God, we're human beings, and we're somewhat focused on our own life because that's the only life we know how to live. But the great creator, the great I am, has created all individuals, has the whole world, the whole universe to focus on. We only know about the life that we're living. So that we know if we go to the great I am, we can affirm who we are. We can affirm that we can do all things. So realize that when the great I am said I am, it's a declaration, it's a proclamation. It is I am the great I am. But realize he didn't say, I was or I used to be. So we have to take out that operation from a memory standpoint and operate from an inspirational standpoint. Because I heard someone say something like, it's hard for me to say affirmations. It's hard for me to use the law of attraction because I can't visualize things that are not in my memory. Realize that when you want your life to go to success, you don't want to recreate all these past experiences in your life. You want to create new experiences. And the brain really only sees images and bits and pieces. We don't want our brain to only go through the same redundant life that we've already lived. So visualizations and affirmations are very important so that we can attract what we want for our future. You don't want what you want for the past. You don't want to relive tomorrow. You don't want to relive the last 5 years of your life. You don't want your life on autopilot. We need to operate the laws of attraction and affirm who we are and go to God. Joel Osteen made a quote, and he said, whatever you say that follows I am actually follows you. So if you say, hey, I feel like if I eat this, I'm going to get fat. You affirm, okay, all right, well, that's what you're attracting. If you say, I am so broke, I don't have any money. Okay, you said, I am so broke, I'm so broke, I don't have any. That's what's going to follow you. So it's just like the Bible tells us how powerful the tongue is. We have to understand that our words, there's a lot behind our words. Our words have power. So you have to realize even the smallest minute things that you say out there in the atmosphere, it's affirming who you are. It's actually following you whether you know it or not. So you have to be careful with your tongue and use your tongue in wise ways, and that's why we have to monitor our thoughts all the time, because even our negative thoughts can have these words slip out our mouth, and we wonder, why is this going like this? Why is that going like that? Because it's the law of attraction. We're attracting these things. We're affirming these things. Whatever you say you are, that's what you are. It's just like that statement when people say, whenever a person shows you who they are, believe them, because there's no other explanation for it. When someone shows you who they are, believe it. When they tell you who they are, believe them. And when you tell someone who you are, they have no other choice but to believe you. So I want to make sure that did anyone else have any comments or anything they want to say about the power of I am?
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to add about, the power of I am, or, affirmations, auto-suggestions, both are the same. When you're coming up with, this picture, it's important that you, if you can, well, you should be able to, because we're talking about your future. So it's not if you can, it's when you can, because you have to make the time for your life, for your future, so that you can be the most productive you that you want to be. It's important that you actually take some quiet time and meditate and begin to draw mental pictures of where you see yourself, who you are, what you are. Because, you can go down that rabbit hole, as I guess if I want to use it as a metaphor, like Alice in Wonderland, and your life could have been a complete hell. But we're talking about using words, simple words, that can transform your life into a whole nother level. So you want to make sure that you actually, get into a quiet space where you can be uninterrupted, just you and God, and visualize. Ask him to give you a vision. Give him what his vision is for you. And then, begin to write those things down. And then again, as we said earlier, just having them on paper is just on paper. But it's when you begin to speak them is when the Spirit brings life to whatever that is that you just have simply written down on paper. That's all I had to add. I can give it back over to Timeka. It's a great call.
Okay. One last thing I wanted to hit on was stay in the mode of expectation. When you're using your affirmations, you're staying in a mode of expectation, or you can call it inspiration, because what you're wanting is a new memory. You want something that you've never had before, because you understand that God has supplied your every need all the way until this point. And what we're doing, the reason why we're doing this call is to grow from success to success. So you want to visualize, you understand that you're operating from a mode of gratitude, but you want to visualize something where if you attain it, it's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a whole person. So if you're visualizing love, if you're visualizing happiness, make sure your affirmations take you to a place where you're actually, at the end result, you become a better person. One thing that I do with my affirmations and my visualizations, I know that vision boards are very popular, but I have a small photo album. And I actually go to Walgreens. Actually, I go online to the Walgreens app, and I choose my pictures from online, and I actually go to Walgreens and get them printed for basically 10 cents or less each print, and I flip through the photo album every day. And it's easier for me to flip through a photo album, because what do photo albums usually do for us? They broaden our mood. When I look at, like, baby pictures of my son, that takes me back to that moment where I was so happy to say, wow, I have a kid, So I flip through the photo album, and I have memories, great memories, and I have places that I want to travel to. I have good pictures that actually inspire me. So they go along with my affirmations because I have these visualizations. And since this is a small, probably 5 by 8-inch photo album, I'm able to easily put it in the purse or take it in the car with me wherever I go. And whenever I want to feel that inspired thought, I can just flip through that photo album and see, hey, I do want to go to Berlin, Germany. I do want to go to Dubai. I do want to go to New York. I see these pictures of my son, and bring my mood better, So that's just a little tidbit that I use to match together my visualizations with my affirmations. I have the house that I want to live in. I have the car that I want to drive. So I operate, and I have the house that I currently live in and the car that I currently drive, because I have to align myself with gratitude, which is the place that I am in now, as well as where I want to be. So all of that is in that small photo album, which holds probably about 100 pictures, and it's easy for me to take it wherever I go. And that's just something I wanted to share with y'all. But if anybody else want to say anything about the power of I am?
I just wanted to add to it a little bit, and that was great information to me, because that right there, definitely having that photo album, that's something that I will go back and try as well. This is something just stuck in me, too, when you were talking about it. Just for the people that may listen to this call that may not be at the point where they want to maybe take things to the next level per se, but they just want to get things kind of right where they are, and start using the power of I am affirmations. You can just sometimes, if you don't know where to start, you can also just start with some of the negative things that people have been saying to you in your life, or some of the negative things you say to yourself. So, for example, if somebody's always said, you're a drunk, or you're a liar, you can take that and just turn it around and start saying to yourself on a regular basis, I'm an honest person. I am sober. I am clean. Whatever you need to say, and just say it over and over. Because sometimes, even if you visualize or try to say affirmations on things that are bigger, like I'm successful, or, big dreams you have, sometimes we just have to start on ground level with some of those little things that people are saying to us, or we're saying to ourselves, that kind of keeps us from even going to that higher level. So, just start there if you don't want to start on the level of, business or career-wise or anything else. Start with something, on that level. Just think about the things that people say to you, or anytime somebody says something that can be negative and trying to speak that into your life, you can just do the opposite and negate it and speak those things into your own life and continue to say it until you walk in it and you believe it. So that's just what I wanted to add to the call as well. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to anybody else that want to chime in.
Okay, that was a great point. One thing I want to say about that is, like, when you affirm that I am successful, in the Bible it says that God wants good success for your life. And the reason why good is right there is because not all success is good. Some people do the wrong thing and they appear to be successful. They appear to have great wealth, but they attained it the wrong way. So we have to realize that, yes, we are successful, but you have to hone in on those skills and abilities and the talents that you have to be that successful person that God has already created you to be. And to some people, it takes a lot in them to look at their current circumstances to go from where they are now to where they want to go in the future. But I'm sure all of us, if you haven't had that moment that, you feel like you were tried and you were tested, that testimony moment already in your life, it's coming. So believe already that if you've made it this far, you are a successful person already. And you just have to believe and believe, because this lifestyle that we live, when we talk about law of attraction, your affirmations, your visualizations, this is your individual life. You are affirming who you are. And unless you believe as an individual, everyone in your circle can believe that you're a success. Everyone in your circle can believe that you got it going on. But if you're just a walking depression, just an all talk, you really don't know what you're about, you really don't know what you want in life, you really don't know where you're going, and you're just surrounded by people who are movers and shakers, it's still up to you to affirm who you are and who you really are, not just play games with the visualization and the affirmations, but to really understand and hone in on who you are to get to the next level. Because I know that this attitude of gratitude is something I'm really, really working on for myself. And you could teach someone how to be grateful by telling them this is what you need to do. Like we're talking about affirmations, this is what you need to do. You need to say it. You need to visualize it. but you have to actually have that self-confidence to believe that you as an individual can achieve something great if you actually do it. So I'll go ahead and wrap up this call, and I want to thank y'all for joining. This call will be on SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, and y'all have a nice day.